Greetings. This is Janelle with the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. I'm sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take a measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Janelle, who is an acute and adult nurse practitioner. She is currently working full-time in the ICU as a nurse practitioner. She's wanting to start a nursing mentorship program where she would help new grad nurse practitioners and registered nurses start on the right footing. She's getting direction on how to get this started for ultimate success. Hey, Janelle, how are you?
I am great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on here. So I'm kind of excited about this one. So I don't think I've really helped anyone develop
I know.
a nursing mentorship program before. Yeah, I mean, I think I've talked to some people about similar things before, but it's mostly been practice startups. So I do mentorship, I do consulting as well. So hopefully I'll be able to help you out here. So tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been a nurse practitioner for, and what sorts of things you've been doing.
So I have been a nurse practitioner for almost 10 years this year. I have worked in outpatient cardiology. I've worked in internal medicine. And then initially I had my DNP, and then I went back to school I had my adult gerontology, and I went back to school to get my acute care because I was already working in acute care, but the problem was I didn't have the certification. So at the hospital I'm working at now, they actually require you to have the certification. So I decided to go back and get that. So I got my acute care certification last year, and as well as my DNP. So I've been in medical ICU for about a year and a half now, and in CCU, I've been there for almost 7 years. Okay. Outpatient, right. About 2. So
yeah, okay. So you've been doing quite a few things. So you definitely got some experience behind you. So you want to continue working in the ICU, I'm assuming, and start this kind of mentorship on the side. This is kind of what my assumption.
Well, actually, no. Like, I want the mentorship that I want to do this on like a larger scale. Like it's not going to be like, I don't want to work in the ICU anymore.
I got you.
I want to, it's going to be, and the problem is like, I don't even see anybody else doing it. So it's not even like I can say that I can get direction from someone else or like look, but this is like my own vision. And it's pretty big, and I haven't seen anybody else doing it. But no, I don't actually want to work in the ICU forever. It's hard work, and the goal is to scale the business so that I don't have to work in the ICU at all unless I absolutely want to.
Sure. No, I get that. So you're okay though. I mean, during the startup phase, you're still going to be working in the ICU while doing this until it starts growing enough.
Like correct. Yeah. Yes. I'm still going to be here until I get things rolling.
Right. Unfortunately, you will, but yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, listen, you've done 10 years. You've done, you paid your dues. So
yeah, I paid my dues.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyways, what are your thoughts here? So it's mentorship for nurse practitioners and registered nurses. Mentorship
Yes.
for what?
So my mentorship, what I'm looking to do is when nurse practitioners come out of school, they like, for example, when I came out of school, I had issues with, writing like, extensive HPIs and, I'm working in the ICU, so suturing, how to use the ultrasound, that kind of like hands-on stuff that people struggle with in school, differential development, developing a very good differential. And those nitty gritty things that they don't teach you in depth in school. So when you come out, you kind of struggle, what order sets to put in for example, someone that comes in with STEMI or aortic dissection or whatever it is they're coming in with. Sometimes it's just hard to figure out, like, what am I ordering? Why am I ordering this? What's the plan? Trying to get that stuff like situated so that they have a little bit more hands-on when they come out, because some of the things that they're struggling with now that I see, I've also struggled with. So if they have some of these hands-on skills, then it'll help them when they transition. So that, and also not only that, but direction, like where to go. Like when you come out of school, if you did adult gerontology, would you take a job in neurosurgery or, salary negotiation and, resume writing, like a lot of stuff that people like I didn't get, that I felt like if I had some of this stuff when I transitioned, it would have been a little bit easier for me.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, I think this is I think this is a good idea. I think there's definitely a need for it. I mean, there are a lot of uh, nurse practitioners, nurses, et cetera, that are just, I mean, they're just lost, you know.
Yeah,
They don't know where it gets, they don't know where to start, they don't know what to
where to start.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
a big problem.
it is. It is. You know, nursing school doesn't really prepare you for that whatsoever. You know, nurse practitioner school
No.
doesn't prepare you for it. It doesn't. So I think that I think it's a good idea, and I think there is some opportunity here. But I want you to be aware of something: is that
Mm-hmm.
this kind of thing is somewhat saturated. All right,
Okay.
you're not the first person to ever think about this. Okay, there are other people doing it and who've been doing it for a
Mm,
lot longer than you. All right. So
okay.
you need to do a little bit of some market research here and make sure that what you're doing is a little unique. All right.
Okay.
What Elite NP did was unique. You know, there really wasn't a
Okay.
whole lot of people doing what I do, you know, helping nurse
Yes.
practitioners open their own
Which
practice.
is true.
Yeah, you know,
That's
cash-based
true.
practices. Like, yeah, you know, most of them were insurance-based, primary care, blah, 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 be another, you know, a gear in the cogwheel kind of a thing. Screw that. I'm sick of that. Let's open some cash practices. Let's do something different, right? So that's what I
Yeah.
did, but it's something
Okay.
different, right? So
Okay.
you need to think about what it is that you want to do that's different. So,
Okay.
you know, what you just told me, one thing that comes to mind is more of like the skills kind of workshop stuff. You know, there are
Mm-hmm.
nurse practitioners out there that want to work in the ICU, that want to work in the hospital. Okay. They want
Mm-hmm.
to learn how to do these certain skill sets that might be required for working in the ER or whatever. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, an acute care nurse practitioner mentorship program might be something that would be a little bit more niched and a little bit more focused than
Mm.
just general, right?
Okay. Like more like focus more on like acute care. Okay.
Focus more on acute care, correct? Because a lot of nurse practitioners, a lot of registered nurses come out of school, they want to work acute care. You know,
Yeah.
they're still young. They haven't been jaded by the system yet, and
Yeah.
jaded by humanity quite yet. You know, they still have.
Yeah.
They're still excited about it, right?
Yep. I know that. I know that feeling. I was there, and now I'm like, all right.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of us have been, you know, like, God, I was just a completely different person who was just a lot more optimistic about humanity before I started getting into healthcare. But,
That is so true.
you know, I kind of miss that, you know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Trust me.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of us are like that. So anyway, so your demographic will probably be those, you know, the people who are still excited about that sort of a thing, that are younger, newer grads, right? That'll probably be demographic. And so that young demographic who's going to need assistance figuring out what is it they're going to, what that is that they want to do and what skills they need to learn to do it well. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So, yeah, so that's going to be your unique offering. So what you have to figure out is what's their pain point? Okay. What's something that they are struggling with? What's their pain point? And what's the solution that I can deliver to fix that problem?
Okay.
That's the question that is worth $1 million here that you need to answer. What's bothering them? What's their pain point? And how do I fix that pain point? What's the solution that I can sell to them, that I can offer them to fix it? Okay.
Okay.
With Elite NP, it was burned out nurse practitioners, sick and tired of working in an insurance-based system, sick and tired of being taken advantage of, right?
Yes.
That's the pain point, because I was there, friends were there, people I knew were there, okay? That's the pain point. My solution to the problem is start your own cash-based system. You start your own cash-based practice and get the hell out of there and make your own money. Work on your terms. That's the solution I offered, right?
Yes. Yep.
So what's the pain point? What's the solution? That's what you're going to have to really think about here if you want to monetize this.
Okay. I was thinking about that also, and I saw I know they have skills workshops and things like that. But I was really trying to figure out what can I do that's a little bit different than that? What can I offer that's just not the same like the regular skill shops and everything else. Of course, once I get bigger or my business starts to expand, and of course I would do conferences and things like that.
Sure.
But in the interim, on a smaller scale, it's just trying to make sure that I hit all those areas that you just explained, but do it in a sense where I can meet the needs of the target population effectively.
Right.
So one of the other things was, as far as because I've listened to a few of your podcasts, which it's really good. And I remember you talking about market analysis and stuff like that. But what about, trying to, as far as when you trying to get started, what do you think about, and I heard you mention something like this to answer this question before, but I'm going to ask you it anyway. But you said, somebody mentioned something about TikTok and Instagram and starting to get yourself out there and possibly trying to do some marketing there. Or how do you just feel about just getting your ads and just, doing the ads also, instead of just trying to gain followers on Instagram or TikTok?
For an online business like this, you're gonna have to almost do both.
Okay.
There's no, you just can't stick to one. For an online business to be successful, and even a telemedicine practice, basically a business that's more online than anywhere else, you have to develop as many channels as you possibly can to spread the word.
Okay.
You cannot rely, you just can't rely on one channel. I know so many people who sit there and think they're going to become rich just off Instagram alone for their practice or their little business they're starting. Listen, it works for some people who can sit here and develop 2 or 3 million followers or whatever. It can work for some people, but for the majority of businesses, you need as many channels as you possibly can to increase your chances for success here. So TikTok, YouTube, you need to get in the communities. You need to be on, nurse practitioner Facebook groups, nurse practitioner forums, communities.
Okay.
You need to get out there and spread the word, because no one knows you exist. Not a single registered nurse, not a single nurse practitioner knows you exist. You could create the most beautiful website. You could have the most amazing courses. You could create the most amazing conference ever. that a nurse practitioner goes to and they walk out super confident with what they're doing. But if no one knows you exist, it's all for nothing.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
you got to focus on those marketing channels if you want this to succeed. Like you just have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I need to, you have to do the market. Okay. All
You
right.
have to do the marketing. You got to, like, you could do paid advertising for sure. I do paid advertising and it works. Okay. You can
Mm-hmm.
advertise on Facebook and YouTube and Google, etc. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, you want to develop a following of people that you don't have to pay to get onto your page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So that's a must. Okay.
that's a must. And if you want this to
Okay.
succeed, that's what you need to focus on the most, more than anything else.
Okay.
Obviously develop an excellent product. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And provide an amazing service that's needed. That's important too.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
yeah, anyways, let me ask you, if you took the coaching consulting course that I created, a couple years ago,
No, I should.
I was getting ready to say, like, you really need to take that course. Like, what I
Okay.
just said right there, that times 100 in the course. Like, I go,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's just
I
FYI. It
need
would
that.
be, yeah. It'd be completely applicable to what you're doing.
Okay. And what's interesting is I just started up on like I got an account on TikTok. I already have Instagram, but I also like added on a business more like Instagram account and then TikTok. I was looking within like TikTok, for example, just to kind of see if there was anybody that was doing what I want to do. And I'm not, or maybe I'm just not searching right, but I'm like, I'm not really finding anybody that has like the kind of content that I would be interested in, and try
Right.
to use them as an example to try to help me like get started and say, okay, well, this person has this many followers, this is what they're doing. And I'm not, I'm not really finding that. So that's also like another problem. I know they have like skills workshops and for NPs and things like that out there, but like on a social media platform, at least, I'm having a hard time
Well,
trying to.
if you can't easily find if you can't find an example of what it is that you want to do, then chances are there's not a whole lot of competition for what you're wanting to do. All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all elite nurse practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and the other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, I'm not really honestly not finding. There's like one other person that's doing it in psych, and that's exactly what I want to do. She has it in psych, like a startup, like, going to school, how to study, passing your exam, getting your NPI with jobs. Like it's a whole, like, she calls it like a survival guide, and it's actually really good. And I'm like, wow, she's probably one of the only people that has something like that I would want to do, except that she's doing it in psych.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And I was trying to find somebody else that has, because, what I was trying to do on TikTok and initially was like to get people like we just talk about like different, because I have so much knowledge like on different like diagnoses and and things like that, and I could like talk about that kind of stuff. right?
Sure.
And but I can't, like, I haven't found anybody in particular that's doing exactly what I wanted to do. So that's
Right.
what makes it a little bit harder. I'm like, geez, am I like the only one that
Then
wants to do
it's
this?
making it harder. This is going to make it easier for you. Are you kidding me? Like, this is a good thing. If you can't find a model to
I
to
can't.
to base it off of,
No.
then good. Make up your own model. I did. I couldn't find anything that was like Elite NP, not a single thing. So I just made it up.
Yeah, I haven't found anybody either like you. You're like the first, you're actually the first person that a lot of MPs that I'm friends with, um, they're not entrepreneur,
No, they're just not.
savvy,
No, yeah, that's
you know.
why I said elite. That's why it's called elite NP.
Yeah,
Only
no.
10-15% of NPs are even gonna bother with anything I say, you know.
Yeah, I
So
know.
you're the elite of the nurse practitioners as far as I'm concerned. You're thinking outside the
Yeah,
box, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
Okay.
yes, so this acute care thing, this could be called something as simple as, the acute care NP boot camp or something. Like, this doesn't
Mm,
have to be complicated, okay? The
okay.
acute care NP boot camp, the, post grad school for NPs or something, like whatever it is that you
Hmm.
want to do, okay? If you don't
Okay.
offer official CE, you can call this whatever you want, okay?
Okay.
There's no rules. All right. There's no
Okay.
regulations with something like this. It's online education for information purposes only. Okay. Like,
Okay.
yeah, unless you become ANCC accredited, AANP accredited, and you offer official CE or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
there's no rules to play by.
Nah.
Okay. So
Okay.
you don't need a model. Just offer what it is that you want to offer. The big thing here that is so critically important, like, I'm not going to sit here and talk about what it is that you should offer. Okay.
Hmm.
It's important. All right. But if you ask the question, what's the pain point? What's the solution to that pain point?
Hmm.
You'll develop a product. You'll develop a service. Okay.
Okay.
Skills workshop, a book, an ebook, a course on how to, become an acute care NP,
Yeah, that's kind of like the route I was
consulting.
like looking at. Just like
Okay.
what you just said, the e-course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
E-course,
looking at like
ebook.
e-course,
Yeah.
ebook. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah.
mentorship, one-on-one mentorship or whatever,
Yes.
that
Oh
you can
wow.
go.
Yeah, that's exactly like that's what's in my brain. I'm just trying to figure out
Right, right,
how
right.
to put it.
So you just put it together.
Yeah.
This is an online resource. Okay. You
Okay.
have articles. You have to show that you are an expert at what it is that you're doing. That is so
Yeah.
important. Okay. If you
Okay.
landed on my site and you start reading my articles and I sound like a blabbler, a babbling idiot, and you're just like, this guy's making absolutely no sense. I think he's completely full of shit. What he's saying is complete nonsense. You're going to click off the website and go somewhere else. Okay.
That's so true.
And a lot of people do that. Screw them, whatever. I don't care. Okay. But a lot of people do that. Um,
Hmm.
so whatever. But the people that don't, they read the articles. Okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. That's
Yeah.
what you have to show the world through YouTube videos, TikTok, short, reels, GIFs, articles, etc. Okay. You have to show that you have to show the world you know what you're doing, what you're talking
Yeah.
about, because no one's just going to
Hmm.
believe you. All right.
Correct.
Just buy your course. No one's going to
Yep.
believe that. So you have to show your expertise off. Okay. And that's through articles, podcasts, videos, whatever. Okay.
Okay.
Don't give away everything because you need to make some money doing this too. Your time's valuable. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you sell a solution to pain points that you talk about on your website. And, you offer little solutions here and there, stuff like that. Okay. You just
Okay.
build out content. You create content, and then you got to market that content through multiple channels. If you do
Okay.
that, you'll start making some money. You'll actually start building a business.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not rocket science here, okay? It's really not.
Okay.
It's just you have to be persistent with it.
Okay.
You have to be consistent, okay?
Okay.
Like, we publish an article every day, Monday through Friday. We have for years.
Okay.
Okay, consistent every single day, Monday through Friday. If you're subscribed to the Elite MP email list, you get content every single day. Thursdays, podcasts every single Thursday. Consistency.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good thing is that I work full-time hours, but I am part-time. But I work full-time hours. So the reason why I was a little bit skeptical because I want to be full-time, but you know what? It'll work because if I need to scale back my hours, I can, and I don't have to worry about trying to go part-time, or I'm part-time, but I'm working full-time hours, you know?
Sure.
So that can work for me. I can do 3 shifts in a pay period, or I can do 2 shifts a week. So, when things start picking up, if I need to, I can just do 3 shifts in a pay period. So it'll all it'll work out, I think, better for me if I just, because a lot of it has to do with making sure you can still pay your bills. And, I have about 30 grand, that I have if I need, to get started or do whatever I need to
Oh,
do.
geez.
Website.
Okay. Listen, you got $20,000-$30,000 to invest in this. You got more than enough.
I know.
Okay. Like this isn't that expensive. The biggest thing you're going to
I know.
spend your money on is a nice website, you know? Like, yeah. And then the rest of it's just marketing online if you wanted to go that route.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But you're going
Okay.
to need to just make sure that you are grounded in reality here, that
Mhm.
this is going to, you'll still have to be working probably for the next year or two. It's going to take a little
Yep.
while for this to
It's gonna take a
come to
while.
fruition. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. My grandmother used to always say Rome wasn't built in a day. So
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
know, I was like, I know this is gonna be a while, but my goal is to get started,
Just get started and
Yeah.
be
Get started.
right.
Yeah.
Be patient with it, but
Yes.
be consistent with it. The reason
Yes.
why most blogs, most YouTube video, channels, most podcasts, the reason why, and most online businesses, the reason why they fail, the majority of them is they just stop. They just give up.
Mm.
I think the average podcast has less than 10 episodes or something like that.
Wow.
People, they never gain traction. So after like the 10th episode, they're like, screw it, I'm done. It takes 100 episodes. Okay. Like the first articles I wrote on
Okay.
Elite MP, I had no idea if anyone was reading them or not. I had no clue. You know what I mean? I didn't
Mm.
make $1 with Elite MP for, a year.
Yeah,
Okay.
it takes time.
It takes time. Right. So if you want to build
Okay.
this online mentorship program, do it. I think there's definitely a need for it. And I think that if you just slowly work your way into it, build a good service, build a product, do the mentorship and just get the word out there, put the work in, I don't see how it couldn't succeed. I really don't. I mean, there's 1 million registered nurses out there and 30,000 NPs that graduate every single year,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And take that coaching consulting course. I'm not just trying to sell you on a course. I'm telling you,
No.
it's literally the model on how to do this.
Okay. I'm gonna get it because I bought another course from you. It was the financial, the one about like finances and like paying off your debt.
Okay,
That one. Yeah.
The financial independence course. Yeah, that was one of my favorite
Yes.
courses to make. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. And then now I'm gonna get this. So whatever it is that I need to do so that I make sure that I have the foundation to do well.
Exactly.
I don't mind. Like I'm not just trying to get started, but I don't have the foundation. I really want to make sure that I have the foundation so that I'm starting off at a good point.
Correct.
So I'll get it. Yeah. I'll make sure I listen to it and, I'll get started.
Sure. No, sounds good. Well, I know you said you listened to a couple podcasts before, so I like to end the episode with you asking me a question. Do you have a question specifically for me or a curiosity?
My question for you is, how did you become so business oriented? There's a lot of people that I know, like a lot of the MPs I mention anything about entrepreneurship or whatever it is, they're like, oh, no, I'm just going to get another job and I'm just going to work extra. And I'm like, great. Like, how did you know so much, like in
Sure.
entrepreneurship? Like, that's what I'm curious about.
Well, I mean, I've always kind of had just a natural affinity for it. Just always
Uh,
have. I just always have. Like, I was selling, I was reselling stuff I'd buy in the cafeteria for 50 cents more, like,
oh,
like I always had kind of a knack for it,
I see.
I've always been attracted to it. Like, even as a kid, like
I
I was like
see.
6 years old and I'm wearing like a tie and reading the newspaper when they used to publish stock symbols and numbers on the, in the newspaper. Like,
Wow.
and I'd sit there and look at it. My mom's like, well, what are you doing? I'm a businessman. Like, what?
Oh, wow.
What kind of dorky 6-year-old says that kind of thing?
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
I've always
Right.
been just attracted to it. Like, I was sitting there watching CNBC when I'm like in fifth grade. What fifth grader watches CNBC?
N- No one.
Um,
I see.
yeah,
Okay.
so I've always kind of had an affinity for it, okay? But I think that what really pushed me over to it was that, I was in college and I minored in business in my first degree. So
Mm,
my first degree was in biology, okay? It wasn't nursing.
mhm.
But I minored in business because I was just curious about it. And I just breezed through those business courses. I mean, I made like hundreds on exams. It was easy for me. It just came easy for me. Like, this
Mm,
just makes sense to me. And so
okay.
it's kind of started there. And so I would read books, I would listen to podcasts, that sort of a thing. But I think really what lit the fire under me, so to speak, was that, yeah, I'm a nurse practitioner. I thought that the world would be so much better. I'd be so much happier once I make $100,000 a year,
Yeah.
$120,000 a year. So my
Yeah.
first job as an NP was for $140,000 a year, after bonus and everything. That's really good money. I'm like 29 years old, right? Making $140,000
Hmm.
a year. But I quickly realized that this is a dead end.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just gonna make $140,000 a year for the rest of my life, basically, and have little raises here and there. I'm still gonna be seeing patients every single day, exchanging my time for dollars.
Yeah.
So I saw the writing on the wall very, very early in my career. And so I think that what finally pushed me over the edge of just starting my own business was I was just so fed up with it. I was just in the ER one day, just looking around. I was like, I can't do this for 30 more years. I can't. I just can't. I'd rather go
Wow.
I'd rather go be a bartender. I can't do this. Like, it's just miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what
Yep.
pushed me over. And that's when I started my first practice. And then it just came easy to me. I didn't worry about stuff that people worry about. I just did it, with the sole focus on, a business is a business. The main objective of a business is to make money. That's the objective of
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
If you don't want to make money, start a non-for-profit or a charity or something. You know what I mean? That's fine. Go volunteer, whatever. That's fine. We need that. And I do that too. But if you're going to start a business, it needs to make money, right? So yeah. And so I started making money and I liked it.
Was
So
there any other like nurse practitioners that you knew that you could confide in and maybe give you advice when you were starting up, or it was just pretty much you were like the
no,
only one with this idea and you just went with it?
I just went with it. I just went with it.
Wow.
I didn't have a nurse practitioner, business owner, mentor. I didn't know a single
No,
nurse practitioner that owned their own business.
that's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I became the
Okay.
first nurse practitioner that I knew that really had their own business. Did I have
Yeah.
some business mentors, some entrepreneurs? Yes. Those are
Yeah.
people that I met at a bar or something, or just met them or whatever. I developed some mentors, but like one owned a landscaping business, like stuff that's just completely not even medical related.
I see.
And that's what made me realize
Okay.
business is business. It doesn't matter if you're selling ice cream or if you're selling semaglutide. It doesn't make a difference. Business is
Yeah.
business.
Business is business. You're right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, hope that answers
Thank
your
you.
question.
Yep. That was very interesting to know. And that's inspiring, So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
You'll get there. It can be learned. Okay. It can be. So
Okay.
yeah. Just deliver a service to a population of people that need some help. What's their pain point?
Okay.
What's the service I'm going to offer them? If you can do that, you're going to make money. You're going to succeed.
Okay.
Yeah. An
Got it.
obesity clinic. What's their problem? They're obese. What's the solution? Weight loss. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This isn't this isn't rocket science. So yeah, acute care NPs. What's their problem? They get out of
Yep.
school not knowing enough to, work in the ICU, for example. So what's the solution? I'm going to develop a course to help them do that. Right?
Yep. Get
Not rocket
that.
science. All right. Hope this was
Thank
helpful.
you. It was. Thank
All
you
right.
very much. I appreciate your time.
All right. You're welcome. You take care.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks. Bye. I hope everyone enjoyed that episode with Janelle. You don't have to start a practice to start a business, okay? She's doing something a little bit different here. She wants to teach acute care NPs or nurses on how to do certain skills, on how to be a good acute care provider nurse, right? So yeah, there's opportunity here for all kinds of different things. And there's a need for it. I mean, nursing is growing, all the time. So be aware of that. But the big thing here, guys, is that you have to determine what your customer's pain point is. It doesn't matter if you're starting a practice. It doesn't matter if you're starting an online education business. It doesn't matter what it is that you're doing, okay? Business is business. What's your customer's pain point and how do you fix their pain point? What's their problem and what's the solution that you can deliver to fix that problem, okay? That is what you need to ask yourself about your customer base. If you cannot answer that question, you really shouldn't be starting a business, basically. You have no room to be starting a business. You should not be doing it, okay? You have to ask that question. It's not rocket science, right? You have obese patients. That's their pain point. What's the solution? Weight loss medication. This isn't that hard, okay? So if you're starting a business, make sure that you ask that question. What is their pain point? What's the solution? If you can do that, you have a business. All right, hope everyone enjoys this episode. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.